And as the minute waltz fades away, I'm your host, Paul Mooney, not as suggested on Twitter this week. Robin Ince, he's really let himself go. I would like to welcome the viewers, not just from this bedroom, but from many bedrooms around the internet. Before I start this game and introduce our guest, I'd like to say a small disclaimer. This is in no way an official version of the amazing BBC radio show. It's not affiliated, other than love. No profit will be made from this production, as it's not an original idea of my own. It's been born out of the recent pandemic and has stopped me going mad. I'd greatly appreciate the BBC not to sue me. I will be plugging my fellow guests if they have a YouTube channel, an online show they wish to promote, production after all this goes away, or they have a funding account. That leaves me to introduce my guests. We have the incredible Cathy Gardener.
Hello.
The amazing Rebecca Knight.
Hello.
The stupendous John Henry Falle.
Hello.
And the tremendous Kate Miranda James-Moore.
Hello.
Hello. The rules are as follows. The contestants will be given a subject which they must talk on for 1 minute, without hesitation, repetition, or deviation. Points are awarded for correct interruptions and awarded to the player for incorrect ones. Bonus points will be awarded for if the player is speaking when the minute elapses, or if I enjoy the interruption. I'm going to raise this point because it became a little bit controversial last week. You may say the words that are on the card. As I say, there was controversy last week. Rob Taylor Hastings was challenged for repeating the word robot and got the subject back and took his revenge back on a 3-year-old that was doing a cameo. Seriously. Seriously. The monster.
Terrible man.
Now, seated to my left is the lovely Samantha, who will be keeping scores and making a lovely ding when the time elapses. I also have to make an apology. Last week, I forgot to mention and say thank you to Samantha, and I'd like to say that her dings are the best in South London. Now, we're going to go straight on to the show. We have 1 minute. I'm going to start with Kate, as you played before, and everyone else hasn't. I'm going to start with you. You have 1 minute on the subject, a rather topical one, of Easter. The topic is Easter. You have 1 minute. Your time starts now.
As a young child, I went to school, as most kids did, and we had Easter hat parades where you had to make your own Easter bonnet. In these walking up and down processions, where the things that went on your head were Easter related, I was a winner repeatedly, to the extent that I got very, very competitive.
We got a challenge there from Rebecca. What's your challenge?
Repetition of the word very.
Probably.
Very.
Yeah, just about. We'll go with that. Rebecca, you have 20. Extremely, just about. It was also the big, bear with me 1 second because I've forgotten something very important. Very, very important. I have nothing to put the scores on. This is good telly, isn't it? This is why this show's on the radio. Okay, 1 second. So, Kate, there we go. I'm literally writing. I have no technical support today. She's just won the subject. Rebecca. Kate, Rebecca, and John, and Cathy. So that's just what happened. Okay, so Rebecca, you have the subject on the subject of Easter. You have 28 seconds and your time starts now.
Easter, when I was a child, was a lot about chocolate. We had an Easter egg hunt with clues around the house and usually one hidden in an airing cupboard. Luckily, the egg was not hidden in that location.
Egg.
We have repetition of egg, but I don't know who buzzed first.
I'm going to give that one to Kate.
All right, Kate.
Yes.
The point to Kate.
Thank you.
Kate, you have the subject of Easter. You've regained the subject of Easter. You have 8 seconds, and your time starts now.
Jesus was the renegade pastor is a meme that has been seen repeatedly over the internet.
Ding, and well done, Kate. You were speaking as the glass was done. And the time, see, there's even a lovely chime that came out of nowhere that's never happened before. We'll give you a point for speaking as the whistle went. Well done. So we will go with Rebecca, and I'm going to give you 1 minute on the subject of Han Solo. Han Solo. You have 1 minute and your time starts now.
I have been in love with Han Solo for a very long time. In 1984, when everybody else had their name in their locker, in that little picture window thing, I had a picture.
Oh, I'm going to go with Cathy, because we haven't heard from you. Cathy and Orinoco.
Repetition of I.
And in. And in.
I mean, you're playing to win, you and Orinoco. As Rebecca hasn't played before, I think we need to sort of... It's Easter Sunday, and remember, it's a day of joy, and we're in lockdown. I think words like I and the... Maybe, but I'll give you a point because I enjoyed the interruption. Rebecca, you still have the subject of Han Solo. I was about to say you have the subject of Orinoco then. You have the subject of Han Solo. You have 42 seconds. Your time starts now.
Everyone knows that a parsec is a measure of time and not distance. So to be able to do the Kessel Run in 12 of those particular units is in fact impossible. There is also an argument about
Speak.
John and the giraffe.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to say that was a momentary lapse with an R.
I think you're probably right with that. I think you're right with that, John. You have the subject of Han Solo. You are a cruel man. I've often said this about you.
Cruel.
You have 18 seconds on the subject of Han Solo. You're 18, 1-8. Your time starts now.
A friend of mine who had never seen the Star Wars films before happened to believe that one of the main characters in the aforementioned trilogy was a Swedish man by the name of Hans, whose surname
And there you go.
was
Well
Olo.
done, John. You were speaking as the... This sound has never happened before. Speaking as the whistle went. Well done. It's lovely, though. It's a lovely chime. Well done. Speaking on the subject of Han Solo.
Hans Olo.
Hans Olo.
Sorry, I might have misunderstood there.
Do you know what? It's not a problem at all. I like it a lot. So let me just reset the clock because that'll do. Just a minute. There we go.
I'm very much channeling what's his name Freud at this point in time.
Be very careful.
Yeah, only in the sense of playing this game. Only in the sense of playing this game.
Good. On that note, Cathy, it's your subject. You have 1 minute on the subject that says here, over at the Frankenstein place. Over at the Frankenstein place. You have 1 minute and your time starts now.
Over at the Frankenstein place was a lyric from a song from a musical named Rocky Horror Show, and that was the original musical that started in 1973 and was open at the King's Road in Sloane Square many years ago. It was
Speakle.
Oh, everybody, including me for some reason.
Repetition of many.
Yeah, we'll go with you, Kate.
Yes.
Repetition of many. You have 38 seconds, Kate, on over at the Frankenstein place. Your time starts. Just giving you your point. Your time starts now.
Just to reiterate the wonder of the NHS, I want to make a thank you for the gluing that happened to my head this week, a la Frankenstein. I now have a glorious scar that makes me empathize with Frankenstein greatly.
Oh, Orinoco and Cathy there. Cathy, what was your hesitation? You're right, you've got the subject back with 12 seconds, but you look glorious, by the way, I should add. Okay?
Thank you.
Despite your injuries, you'd never know. The Carmen Miranda that you are portraying is gorgeous. You have 12 seconds, Cathy, on over at the Frankenstein place. Your time starts now.
Over at the Frankenstein place was a lyric that was sung by Richard O'Brien, who also authored
Oh, Kate.
Ooh.
Repetition of what she's already said in the past.
Ooh.
Or does that count?
Ooh, I think it does because it's her subject. Oh, we're playing hard today.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah, all right. I'm going to have to go with Kate, I'm afraid. It's cruel, but we're going to go. Point to Kate. Kate, you have 4 seconds on Over at the Frankenstein Place. Your time starts now.
It's a Rocky Horror.
Oh, Cathy.
Hesitation.
All right, as I gave it to you, I'm going to give it to Cathy. Cathy, I know. You've got him with 1 second to go.
Yay.
Your time starts. Are you ready, guys? Now.
And
it's over.
Hesitation!
Very good.
Wasn't a word.
We are going on to John, and John, I'm going to give you the subject of. I'll give you the scores after this in a moment. John, you have the subject of myth and legend. Myth and legend. You have 1 minute on myth and legend. Your time starts now.
One of the considerable legends in my school was the headmaster, Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook was known to... damn.
It's difficult because Orinoco just sort of beat the sound, doesn't he?
Orinoco!
Oh, right.
I think Rebecca got it.
Yeah, we'll go with Rebecca. Rebecca, you have...
But sound is...
Did you even say... I didn't even say... This is really difficult on my own. I'm not going to lie. You have 48 seconds on myth and legend. Your time starts now.
Myths and legends are responsible for a lot of crap that we have to deal with today. Witches could be considered...
Squeakle. I'm afraid that was... I'm going to leap on that I'm afraid it's a hesitation. That was very rude.
Okay, all right.
I'm so sorry.
There we go. Let me
I thought you were going to go for deviation.
Point.
Yeah, I was going to say
John,
deviation when everyone knew in the other one.
I don't know what's going on. It's gone slightly mad today. John, you have 36 seconds on myth and legend. You were going the subject, and your time starts now.
Some of these myths and legends were first told around campfires thousands of years ago. One of the earliest known stories is that of Gilgamesh, a man who tried to avoid mortality by going towards a gentleman known as Utnapishtim, the man who had avoided the flood. However, once he came to him,
repetition!
Kate.
Repetition of avoided.
Okay, repetition of avoided.
Oh,
yeah, it was there. I'll give you that. It was there. Okay, Kate, you have 12 seconds on myth and legend. Your time starts now.
Medusa was famed for her flame-like locks that turned men to stone. When she looked at them with a fear and hatred...
Well done, Kate. Well done. You were speaking as not the whistle. I keep saying whistle.
I have a whistle. I know you're not allowed to use it for
I'm dinging
purposes.
That's essentially what I'm doing. For health reasons at the moment, I'm not using a whistle. Well done, Kate. So I will tell you the scores at the moment. So, Kate, you have 6. Rebecca has 3. John has 3, and Cathy has 4. So, you know, there's 3 places in it at the moment, which is good. Right, we will go on to Kate. I'm going to give you the subject, Kate, on 1 minute. Of the subject will be kittens. Kittens. You have 1 minute on the subject of kittens. Your time starts now.
Kittens are often found to entertain small people, medium-sized people, and large people.
That was Rebecca. Rebecca, what was your challenge?
Repetition of people.
That was indeed excellent. You have 50 seconds on kittens. Your time starts now.
Kittens can be wonderful things. Climbing onto your bed, purring in your face, squealing.
Kathy and Orinoco. It's terrifying. I'm not going to lie. The giant Orinoco leaping out the screen is vaguely terrifying. Sorry, what was your interruption?
Repetition of your. On your bed, on your...
All right then. All right, we'll go with that. All right. Kathy, you have 41 seconds on the subject of kittens. Your time starts now.
Kittens are lovely things, and it should be said that the internet would probably collapse if they didn't exist. They are the subject of
Kate, was Was repetition.
Ding
It sounded
dong.
like you were having
Yeah,
stroke.
repetition.
Slightly concerned. There we go. Okay, Kate. Excellent. You have 31 seconds on the subject of kittens. Your time starts now.
101 Dalmatians would be a very different movie if it had been made with cats. These names could have been really extraordinary rather than substandard and boring as Disney made the Dalmatians, which I've just...
Buzz.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Rebecca, what was your challenge in the rules of just a minute?
I can't remember because I got distracted by the fact that I
Say
thought
hesitation.
interrupted first.
Repetition,
hesitation.
It might have
repetition
been
of
hesitation.
Dalmatians.
Do you think it might have been hesitation? All right, we'll go with that.
Repetition of Dalmatians.
Repetition of Dalmatians, hesitation, a whole plethora, quite frankly. Okay, you have 11 seconds on kittens. Rebecca, your time starts now.
Okay. As I was going to say before, weeing by the front door to, we assume, protect the house. So I can only surmise
Well
that...
done, Rebecca. You were speaking as everything went wrong on my computer, and you got an extra point there. Marvellous. So we will go to Cathy.
Oh no.
Cathy, and you have the subject of the blue meanies.
Yay!
Blue meanies. You have 1 minute on the blue meanies. Easy for me to say. Your time starts now.
The Blue Meanies were characters from a cartoon, which was also a TV series and later made into a long feature-length movie featuring the Beatles.
Kate.
Is feature length and feature the same word?
Featuring. I said
Featuring, yeah.
featuring.
Oh, I didn't hear that, sorry.
Kathy, I'll give you an extra point for being interrupted. You have 42 seconds on the blue minis. Your time starts now.
The Blue Meanies had a chief, and he was a big blue meanie. So he was in charge of all of the blue meanies.
Repetition of he?
Oh, I can't.
He was?
No, it's one of the small ones, that one. I'm not
Okay.
sure. We'll let that one slide today. I will give you an extra point, Kathy, for being interrupted. You've got 31 seconds of the blue meanies. Your time starts now.
Blue meanies were creatures that hated music, and they were pitted against John, Paul, George, and Ringo in a feature-length episode, and they were very, very mean to everybody, especially a set of bagpipes.
Repetition.
Of
Very, very.
yes. We'll give you that. Kate, you have 8 seconds on the blue minis. Your time starts now.
The blue meanies had humongous noses. These protrusions from their face
Well
were
done.
actually...
Yes. Well done. Sorry. Oh God, I've not got enough hands. Well done, Kate. You were speaking as the bell rang, and you get an extra point. I'm going to go with. I've done this in slightly wrong order, but you'll all get a go. I'm going to go Rebecca next, and I'm going to go the Fibonacci spiral. You have 1 minute
Ooh.
on the Fibonacci spiral. Your time starts now.
The Fibonacci spiral is absolutely beautiful, and if our host moves his head slightly, you will see a clock that you can't...
Squeak, 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 squeak. Hesitation, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's worth
It
it.
was.
It's worth it. It's a visual
It's a lovely
extraness.
Can we see it?
Yeah.
I think you can just about see it behind you.
No.
But
no.
it is there. It is there, which is very lovely. Unfortunately, it did cost you the point there.
I'm sorry. I'm
Get it
so
back,
sorry.
Get it
Can we
back.
get this back?
You can get this back, Rebecca.
John, you have 47 seconds on the Fibonacci spiral. Your time starts now.
An example of the Fibonacci spiral can, of course, be seen in the pine cone, which, through its delicate seeds, displays a clear Fibonacci sequence.
Rebecca.
A hesitation, you kind of stuttered over delicate.
Yes,
Just
quite.
The word hesitation there.
I can't
Yes,
help
you
it.
did. Oh,
It's just
is-
apt.
I'd be dead now. Okay, that's a point to Rebecca. You have 36 seconds. on the Fibonacci spiral. Your time starts now.
Fibonacci spiral is generated from the Fibonacci sequence, some of the numbers of which are 2, 3, 5, 10, 13. I won't go on because I would hesitate at some point within that particular length of digits. It does, however, create a shape that can be seen in nature. In the Nautilus, which you would find beneath the sea, a beautiful shell.
Well done, Rebecca. You were speaking as the bell rang.
Yay!
Very impressive.
Yay!
And we're going into a final round, sadly, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to the final round. John, I'm going to give you the subject. I think you're going to be quite glorious at this. Do you want the scores before I go into the final round? I will.
No.
As we go into the final round. John, you're in a solid fourth place. A solid fourth place at the moment. But you could win it back. Cathy, you're in third with 6. Oh, sorry, you're in joint third with... Sorry, John, you're in third place.
Yes!
Currently...
Giraffe!
In a joint place is Rebecca and Cathy, and leading away is Kate. So, John, you have 1 minute on the telltale heart. The telltale heart. You have 1 minute on the telltale heart. Your time starts now.
The Telltale Heart is, of course, a classic Gothic story as originally written by Edgar Allan Poe, master of the macabre. It is a clear description of a man's descent into...
Kate, yes, sorry.
Hesitation.
There was a slight hesitation there,
I'd call it more of a fillip, if you will.
It was, but I'm sure you'll get the subject matter of that. I'm fairly sure. You have 45 seconds, Kate, on on the telltale heart. Your time starts now.
The telltale heart is a realization that I'm beginning to have that I should not have interrupted someone who knew exactly what they were talking about to make a deviation into the realms of the pitter-patter of how fast my heart is going now, in that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, Cathy.
A slight hesitation.
You know, at this point, doesn't matter. Yeah, you've got the subject. Cathy, you've got 21 seconds on the telltale heart. Your time starts... Sorry, something's just come up on my screen. Your time starts now.
The Telltale Heart was by Edgar Allan Poe, and it was a Gothic story, and it detailed what happened when someone got very, very guilty.
Squeak.
Yeah, John.
I'm afraid that was a repetition of
very guilty.
Very guilty.
You've got the subject back with 7 seconds to go, and given how long the title is, you probably could get away with that. However, you have 7 seconds. Your time on the telltale heart starts now.
A clear description of monomania that is beautifully described in detail throughout the...
You hesitated into the last second.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yes, marvellous. A dive.
5. Okay, so good news, everybody. Very good news. John, you are in third place.
Yay!
Yay!
Rebecca and Cathy, you're in a joint second place with 8. And Kate, you are this week's winner with 10 points. Well done. Very well done. I feel that you got a bit of an advantage playing before, but you did well nevertheless. Before we leave, it just leaves me to thank Ian Messiter for creating this game and the BBC for not taking legal action. I'm going to chat to our guests about what the planes do over lockdown in a second. But before we go, we would like to dedicate this show to the one and only Tim Brooke Taylor, who sadly passed today. As this is not a show or tribute show to us, sorry, I haven't a clue. We would like to say we're very sorry he's passed away, and I've stole at least 4 jokes off him today. So that's
he lives on. He lives on.
Yeah.
He lives on. Excuse me. Next week, I'll be taking a little break from hosting the show, and Kat Dabber is going to be doing a drag special, so enjoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kate, I believe
Yes.
you are designing and colouring in and sticking and doing lovely things.
Yeah, I'm making masks and I'm painting and I'm doing lots of things, but I'm also making fascinators
Oh, look at them.
to be worn on the head from stuff that I have lying about. But not everyone has this stuff lying about. So what I'm doing is I'm creating, trigger warning, clown, creating creative care packages to send in the post in envelopes like this. And then I will do a Zoom tutorial on how to make your own fascinator such as this.
Marvelous.
So if you would like to be considered or would like to get involved in that, then please email comediapuppets@gmail.com.
I'll include that in the bio afterwards as well.
Thank you.
And John, you are doing glorious things. You are keeping South London entertained. Tell us what you're doing, John.
Well, I am doing readings of classic ghost stories and indeed tales of the strange, I've taken from my considerable collection of, I didn't realise they were going to be useful in any sense, horror and sci-fi and fantasy short story paperbacks from the 50s, 60s and 70s and 80s. And there's some really beautiful ones. We haven't done the Telltale Heart yet, actually. We've done Mask of the Red Death, but you know what? I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's going out on Wednesday. It's not going to be today, because today, if you're listening on Wednesday, it's actually going to be the second part of our classic Jewish ghost stories, or Jewish fantasy stories for the 8th day of Passover. So we're going to have some marvellous ones there. But on Sunday night next, we're going to have some more horror stories. So yes, Telltale Heart is definitely making an appearance sometime soon. And you can join me at Twitch.tv/The Story Beast. Twitch.tv/The Story Beast.
Lovely. I'll put that in the bio at the end as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We know it's difficult at the moment. Stay safe, stay indoors. Thank you for watching. We hope you're all coping. This is a little bit of madness just to get us through. Stay safe, keep washing your hands, stay inside. There's lovely things like making fascinators and listening to stories and this nonsense and stand-up comedians. There's loads of stuff going on. Stay inside, and thank you for watching Lockdown Just a Minute.